What if I told you that the fear holding you back is actually a map to your greatest treasure? Think of fear as an internal alarm system. It's not there to stop you, it's there to signal that you're about to step into uncharted territory, a place brimming with untapped potential. It's as if the universe is whispering up, hey, there's something big here for you. But why do some people crack the code of fear while others stay trapped in a loop of anxiety? The answer might surprise you. Have you ever felt that tightness in your chest? That voice in your head saying you're not good enough? That cold sweat before a big decision? We've all been there. What if I told you that this paralyzing fear could be the very thing that sets you free? Imagine waking up tomorrow with your biggest fear transformed into your greatest strength. I'm not talking about erasing fear. That's impossible, and surprisingly, not even desirable. I'm talking about an emotional alchemy that few understand but is within everyone's reach. 12 years ago, I'd tremble in front of any crowd. My voice would crack in meetings. My heart would race when I had to stand up for my ideas. Fear ruled me. Today, I'm sharing a method that didn't just change my life. It's transformed the lives of hundreds of people I've worked with, from CEOs to artists, athletes to everyday folks longing to live extraordinary lives. What they all discovered flies in the face of almost everything you've been told about dealing with fear. And here's the first mind-blowing revelation. Your greatest fear is guarding your greatest treasure. You're about to find out why some people turn crippling anxiety into creative energy while others stay stuck in the same limiting patterns for decades. In this video, I'll walk you through a 3-step method that changed Kelly's life, a single mom who was terrified of starting a business and now supports her family with her own venture, the specific technique that helped Carl overcome 30 years of public speaking panic to become a sought-after speaker, the unsettling paradox that explains why the harder you try to eliminate fear, the stronger it gets. And I'll reveal the secret that great leaders, artists, and innovators intuitively know but rarely share openly. But here's a heads up. What I'm about to share isn't for everyone. If you're looking for quick fixes or shallow tricks, this isn't for you. What I'm offering takes courage, the courage to look at what scares you most and see beyond the surface. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal a transformative question that, once answered honestly, could forever change how you relate to fear. And here's a bonus. If you like this video and drop a comment, YouTube will get a better sense of what you love and recommend more content like this. So, if this resonates with you, hit that like button now. Ever wondered why some people seem naturally brave while others freeze in fear? The answer isn't in their genes or personality, it's something far more accessible, and I'll reveal it in the next few minutes. What if your biggest fear is the doorway to the life you've always wanted? Let's find out together. The day fear knocked on the door, facing the invisible enemy. Fear isn't a monster, it's a messenger. It's handing you an invitation to an adventure of self-discovery. Picture each fear as a video game quest. At first, it feels daunting, packed with challenges, but as you push forward, you unlock skills and powers you didn't even know you had. By the end, you're the hero of your own story. But how do you turn this scary invite into an epic journey? The key lies in understanding fear's dual nature. On a quiet night when everything seemed calm on the outside, a middle-aged man wrestled with an anxiety only he could hear, heart pounding, hands sweaty, thoughts racing in every direction. That was fear. Not a monster under the bed, but a cruel whisper saying, "You're not enough." We've all felt it. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being seen as weak. And right there lies the opportunity. Fear reveals where your true power hides. Instead of running or hiding, what if we looked this enemy in the eye, understood it, transformed it? That's the moment life shifts. Fear is a map. Every pang of dread points to a dormant strength waiting to awaken. The dual nature of fear, protection and prison. Fear exists for a reason. It's evolutionary, designed to keep us safe. Our ancestors who feared predators survived because of it. But in modern life, this mechanism often misfires. What's meant to protect us ends up caging us. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca put it, we don't suffer because of what happens, but because of how we interpret it. Fear at its core is just an interpretation, a story we tell ourselves about what could go wrong. The paradox of vulnerability. Ever notice how we admire people who show their vulnerabilities, who admit their fears? There's immense power in owning our flaws. Researcher Brené Brown calls it the power of vulnerability. When you let yourself be seen, doubts and all, you forge authentic connections and unlock profound transformation. Think about it. That presentation you dread, that tough conversation you avoid, that project you keep postponing, they're all invitations to grow. Reflection, exercise, a conversation with fear. Take 5 minutes now. Close your eyes and picture your biggest fear as a person sitting across from you. What do they look like? What are they wearing? How do they sound? Now, start an inner dialogue. Ask, why do you show up in my life? What are you trying to protect me from? What strength do you think I'm missing? The answers often reveal not just the fear, but the path to rise above it. Buddhism teaches us to observe emotions with curiosity, without judgment, like clouds drifting across the sky of your mind. When we watch fear this way, it slowly loses its grip. The biology of courage, science shows fear and excitement are nearly identical in your body. Racing heart, shallow breaths, adrenaline surge, they're the same responses. The only difference? Your mind's interpretation. Top athletes know this. They don't try to ditch pre-game nerves. They reframe them as energy ready to unleash. What if you did the same? Next time you feel that tension before a challenge, try thinking, this isn't anxiety, it's my body gearing up to shine. Here's the truth. Fear never fully vanishes. Even the bravest feel it. The difference? They've learned to turn it into fuel for action. Stick with this video to the end. And here's a perk. If you like and comment, YouTube will fine-tune its recommendations for you. Next up, we'll unpack the anatomy of fear and see how it works behind the scenes of your mind. Ready for this self-discovery ride? Anatomy of fear. Where it begins and how it grows. Your brain can't tell the difference between a lion chasing you and a big presentation. That's why your body reacts the same way. It's like your brain's stuck in survival mode, even when there's no real threat. But here's the good news. You can hack this system. By understanding fear's 3 layers, biological, cognitive, and existential, you can start rewiring your response. So what's the secret technique to break this vicious fear cycle? Get ready for a game-changing revelation about handling anxiety. Fear is an internal story. It's the tale we spin when facing the unknown. But that story can be rewritten. When we realize fear isn't real, it's an interpretation shaped by past experiences, traumas, and assumptions, we take the first step toward mastery. Fear feeds on doubt, negative mental loops, and avoidance. The more we dodge it, the bigger it grows. But when we face it with intentional action, it shrinks. Fear can't handle the light. It thrives in the shadows of denial. That's why I'm proposing a simple, powerful method: identify, confront, expand. The 3 layers of fear to transform something, we first need to understand it deeply. Fear operates on 3 levels. 1, biological. Your body reacts instantly. Amygdala fires up, cortisol and adrenaline flood in, fight, flight, freeze kicks on. It's a mammal-wide survival response. 2, cognitive. This is the mind's chatter. What if I fail? They'll laugh at me. I'm not enough. These thoughts shape how you see reality. 3, existential. The deepest layer tied to your sense of self. Fear of not being loved, of being insignificant, of wasting your life. Taoism teaches that understanding these layers lets us flow with fear instead of fighting it. Resistance breeds more resistance. Acceptance brings flow. The vicious fear cycle. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux found that fear creates a feedback loop in your brain. You sense a threat, real or imagined. Your body responds with physical symptoms. You notice those symptoms, amplifying the sense of danger. That ramps up the symptoms, locking you in a cycle. Breaking this loop takes awareness. Positive psychology shows we can interrupt it by pausing consciously between the trigger and reaction. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space lies our power to choose. Mapping fear in your life. Picture your life as a map. There are safe zones you roam freely, your comfort areas. Then there are borders where fear creeps in. Beyond those borders, uncharted lands of growth and opportunity. Fear guards those edges, trying to convince you crossing is risky. But on the other side lies what you most desire. Practical exercise, charting your fears. Grab a sheet of paper and make 3 columns. 1. List your biggest fears. 2. Write what each fear is protecting. 3. Identify the strength you'd gain by overcoming it. For example, fear, public speaking, protecting my self-image from rejection. Strength, the ability to influence and inspire. Buddhist philosophy says, mindful observation reveals a thing's true nature. This exercise brings your fears into the light. The hidden cost of unfaced fear. Fear exacts a steep toll, said the Stoic Marcus Aurelius, a truth that echoes through time. When we avoid what scares us, we pay with wasted energy on worry, missed opportunities, stunted relationships, unrealized potential, a half-lived life. Reflect on the big decisions you've made lately. How many were driven by fear versus courage and aspiration? Your hero's journey. Mythologist Joseph Campbell identified a universal pattern in transformation stories, the hero's journey. The hero always faces their greatest fear to claim their deepest desire. Harry Potter confronts Voldemort. Frodo braves Mordor. Luke Skywalker battles Darth Vader. These tales resonate because they mirror our inner quest. Your fear is the dragon guarding your treasure. To claim it, you've got to face the beast. As psychologist Carl Jung said, what you resist persists, what you embrace transforms. Name your dragons, face them with guts. Discover the riches they protect. If this is clicking for you, drop a comment sharing the dragon you're ready to take on. Your courage might spark someone else watching. Next, we'll dive into a proven 3-step method, the practical path to turn your biggest fear into your greatest strength. The proven method, transformation in 3 simple, unstoppable steps. Accepting fear isn't surrender. It's giving your scared self a hug. It's saying, I see you, I get you, and I love you anyway. Emotions are like ocean waves. You can't stop them from coming, but you can learn to surf them. Radical acceptance is the first step to mastering this art. It's like becoming a Jedi of your own feelings. But how do you turn acceptance into action? How do you channel fear's energy into an extraordinary life? The answer lies in step 2. For years, I've coached leaders, artists, entrepreneurs, and regular people chasing extraordinary lives. Every single one had something in common: fear. But those who followed these 3 steps changed forever. Here's the method. Step 1. Radical acceptance. Denying fear only makes it stronger. Step 1 is seeing it as part of you, because it is. Don't fight it. Welcome it. Feel it. Notice what it's trying to teach you. This acceptance brings clarity. The wisdom of radical acceptance. Buddhism and Stoicism agree. Resisting reality breeds suffering. When we push against fear, we layer on extra pain, fear of fear itself. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us to hold tough emotions like we'd hold a crying child. with kindness and presence. Fear, I'm here for you. I'll listen. This isn't passivity or giving up. It's lucid acknowledgement, creating inner space for transformation to unfold naturally. Compassionate witness technique. When fear hits, observe it like a compassionate bystander. Picture yourself by a river, watching fear thoughts float by like leaves. You're not the leaves, you're the watcher. Ask, where do I feel this in my body? What physical sensations are here? What thoughts tag along? If this fear could speak, what would it say? Psychologist Susan David calls this emotional agility, being present with your feelings without letting them run the show. From resistance to acceptance, a real story. Anna, a 38-year-old exec, was paralyzed by fear of delegating. She controlled everything, worked 14-hour days, and teetered on burnout. When she finally explored this fear, she uncovered a deep belief. If I don't do it, no one will get it right. Instead of battling that voice, she embraced it, realizing it stemmed from a childhood where she had to step up too soon. With that clarity, Anna saw her fear wasn't the enemy. It was an outdated shield. That's when she was ready for step 2. Step 2, turn emotion into motion. Every emotion carries energy. Fear's got a ton. Channel it into constructive action, writing, speaking, creating, running, even shouting. And you start shaping that raw power into something useful. Fear in motion becomes courage. Emotional alchemy neuroscientist Antonio Damasio says, emotions are literally energy in motion, emotion. Block it and it festers. Move it intentionally and it transforms. Taoism's Wu Wei, effortless action, teaches us not to fight the current, but to guide its flow. Micro moves of courage. You don't need to climb Everest to shift fear. Start with tiny acts of bravery, daily steps that nudge you past your comfort zone. If public speaking scares you, Day 1, record a 1-minute audio about something you love. Day 7, share an opinion in a small meeting. Day 14, volunteer to present a topic to your team. Day 30, sign up to speak at a local event. Each micro step builds your courage muscle and rewires your nervous system to link action with relief, not danger. The do it scared practice. The trick isn't waiting for fear to fade before acting, it's acting while you feel it. Feel the fear and do it anyway, says psychologist Susan Jeffers, nailing this step's essence. Courage isn't fear's absence, it's action despite it. Even the boldest feel fear. They just take the next step with shaky legs. Transmutation rituals. Craft personal rituals to shift fear's energy. Write your fears on paper, then burn it, symbolizing transformation. Curate a courage playlist for tough moments. Strike a power pose for 2 minutes before a challenge. Psychologist Amy Cuddy's research shows this cuts stress hormones and boosts confidence. Step 3, rewrite your identity. You're not a fearful person. You're someone who's faced fear and grown through it. Each brave step strengthens your identity. You build new beliefs. The impossible starts feeling inevitable. The power of personal narratives. We're the stories we tell ourselves. Saying, I'm shy or I'm bad with numbers locks you into a limited identity. What if you flip the script? I'm learning to speak up. I'm growing my math skills. Narrative psychology says we can't change the past, but we can reshape its meaning and rewrite our future. The future self-technique. Picture yourself 5 years from now, having conquered your biggest fear. How does that person move through the world? Talk, decide? What beliefs do they hold? Write a letter from that future self to you now. What would they say? What advice would they give? What assurances? Rooted in positive psychology, this builds neural pathways to ease you into that new identity. Philosopher William James said, act as if you're brave, and you'll become brave. Your identity shapes through repeated action. If this method vibes with you, comment which step you want to focus on. radical acceptance, emotion in motion, or new identity. Let's build this journey together. Next, we'll meet real people who used this method to turn their biggest fears into their greatest strengths. Real stories of courage. When fear grew wings. Carl, the exec who quaked before crowds, now wields fear as a superpower. He turned dread into passion and inspires thousands. Carl's story is a modern fairy tale. He slayed the fear dragon and found a treasure inside, the ability to connect and share his message. It's like he unlocked a secret level in life's game. Carl, 52, a finance director, always dreamed of speaking publicly, but was paralyzed by panic. One day, trembling, he spoke to 5 people. A month later, 50. Today, he moves hundreds. But Carl's not alone. Get ready to meet Kelly, a single mom who turned her fear of entrepreneurship into a thriving business. Kelly, 44, a single mom, feared failing as an entrepreneur, but a fiercer fire burned inside her. She took a step, stumbled, cried, kept going. Now her online store supports her home and her confidence. These folks didn't banish fear, they put it to work for them. Carl's journey, from silence to the stage. Let's dig into Carl's story. Brilliant with numbers, he froze when presenting results. His voice cracked, body shook, mind blanked. For years, he passed off talks to his team, but secretly yearned to give motivational speeches. The clash between his dream and fear tore him apart. His shift began with the 3 steps. Radical acceptance. Carl stopped shaming himself for feeling scared. He got curious about his reactions, tracing the fear to a humiliating teenage moment when he stuttered during a school speech. Emotion in motion. He started recording short finance videos at home, first just for himself, then for friends, then online. Each step dulled the fear's edge. Rewritten identity. He shed the label public speaking phobic for communicator in training. He studied great speakers, built pre-talk rituals, and grew into this new self. The secret? Fear never fully leaves, Carl says. I still get butterflies before stepping on stage. Now I see it as excitement, not terror, energy I can use. Today, Carl keeps his day job but speaks on financial literacy in low-income communities twice a month. I turned my biggest fear into the tool that fulfills my deepest purpose. Kelly and the Art of Building with Fear Kelly was an admin assistant when divorce left her raising 2 kids alone. Her paycheck barely covered basics, and entrepreneurship wasn't a dream, it was survival. Her knack for crafting bags and accessories was just a hobby. Turning it into a business felt impossible for someone who never had a head for business, was as she put it. Her first move was shaky, posting her work online. I hit share and had an instant anxiety spike. What if they hated it? What if no one bought? What if I looked ridiculous? But her fear of failing her kids outweighed her fear of failing herself. That drive pushed her forward. She used the method. Radical acceptance. In her journal, she listed her business fears. I'm scared I'll price wrong, I'll miss deadlines, I'll grow too fast and flop. Naming them made them less vague, more manageable. Emotion in motion. Instead of waiting for confidence, Kelly committed to one business task daily, even on rough days, posting a product, researching pricing, contacting a supplier. Rewritten identity. She started calling herself a creative entrepreneur, even when it felt odd. Joining women's business groups and sharing her story cemented this shift. At first, every sale felt like luck, every compliment a fluke, Kelly says. But after 3 years of steady work, I can't deny it. I built a profitable business from scratch, fear and all. Patterns of transformation. From dozens of stories like these, clear patterns emerge, the tipping point, a moment when staying stuck hurts more than changing, imperfect action. They don't wait for perfection, they act, learn, tweak. Support network, No one goes it alone. Believers lift you when you doubt yourself. Bigger purpose, a strong why reveals the how. Fear fades before a clear mission. Celebrating wins, honoring each brave step, reinforces new neural paths. The failure paradox. In the best transformation tales, failure's almost always part of it. Carl flubbed lines repeatedly. Kelly once made a big batch no one bought, but instead of proving their fears right, these stumbles became gold mines of insight. As Stoicism teaches, the obstacle is the way. Sarah, a 36-year-old photographer, sums it up. You don't wait for fear to leave to live fully. You pack it in your life suitcase. It's just not driving anymore. What's your transformation story? Which fear, faced head-on, could become your strength? Share a small brave step you'll take this week in the comments. Next, we'll see how fear, paradoxically, might be your best guide to your true path. The gift hidden in chaos. How fear points the way. Your biggest fear is your biggest desire in disguise. Fear the stage, you want to be heard. Fear love, you crave acceptance. It's like the universe is dropping hints about your purpose. Think of fear as an inner GPS, not telling you where to avoid, but guiding you to the toughest, most rewarding path. It's a treasure map, and fear's the X marking the spot. But how do you decode this fear signal? How do you turn chaos into clarity? The answer's in a transformative question I'll share right now. Fear's a signpost. Like pain showing where the wound is, it doesn't punish, it alerts. When you feel fear about a project, speaking your truth, or changing your life, it's not a stop sign. It's a call to move forward. Fear shows where the gold is, where your soul wants to grow, where your voice wants to ring out, where your strength wants to bloom. Ever thought your biggest fear might be your deepest desire in disguise? Fear the stage? You want to be heard. Fear love? You want acceptance. Fear starting a business? You want freedom, so follow the fear. Go, even with a racing heart. That's where your greatest strength waits. Fear as an existential compass. In life's big leaps, marriage, kids, career shifts, launching a venture, speaking hard truths, fear's rarely absent. Why? These moments mean expansion. As Joseph Campbell said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Here's the human journey's grand irony. What we fear most often aligns with what we want most. Fear marks the threshold between who you are and who you could be. The creation paradox. Artists know this well. A blank page or canvas intimidates because it's infinite possibility. Ernest Hemingway faced the terror of the blank page every morning. This pattern plays out everywhere. Entrepreneurs fear failure because they care fiercely about their vision. Lovers fear rejection because they treasure connection. Activists fear pushback because they believe in change. The depth of your fear often mirrors the depth of your desire. The wisdom of discomfort. Zen Buddhism's don't know mind embraces uncertainty with openness. When discomfort hits, we rush for quick answers or dodge ambiguity. But the richest breakthroughs live in that uneasy space. Psychologist Marsha Linehan, creator of dialectical behavior therapy, calls distress tolerance a key growth skill, not erasing discomfort, but staying with it. Exercise, decoding fear. For each big fear, ask, what do I truly value behind this fear? What's the opposite of this fear like? What part of me is trying to emerge? If this fear were a teacher, what's its lesson? Example, fear, switching careers at 40. Value, financial security, professional skill. Opposite, renewal, purpose, vitality. Emerging self, my authentic voice seeking meaning. Lesson, building inner security amid uncertainty. Positive chaos theory. In math chaos theory, shows small initial shifts can spark massive outcomes, the butterfly effect. Same in life. Chaotic moments, when fear peaks, certainties crumble, often precede quantum leaps. A job loss, opening a truer career. A breakup leading to mature love. a health scare, waking you to life's value. A Chinese proverb says, "When winds of change blow, some build walls, others build windmills." Arbor, fear as untapped potential. Psychologist Abraham Maslow noted, people often fear their own greatness, the Jonah complex. Many fear discovering how extraordinary they are, he wrote. It's our brilliance, not our darkness, that scares us most. Staying small feels safer than owning your potential. Fear of success is as real as fear of failure, just sneakier. The courage to be imperfect. Maybe fear's greatest gift is letting us embrace our messy humanity. Facing fear shows we don't need perfection to matter. We don't need all the answers to start. We don't need doubt-proof armor to move. In Japan's kintsugi art, broken pottery is repaired with gold, making flaws the most beautiful parts. Brené Brown's research agrees, vulnerability is the root of innovation, creativity, and change. Showing up, fears and all, sparks real connection and fuller living. The transformative question. As we wrap this journey, here's a powerful question to carry forward. Who would I become if fear no longer held me back? Not to erase fear, that's impossible and unwanted, but to stop it from calling the shots. Imagine living led by curiosity, love, purpose, with fear along for the ride, but not in the driver's seat. Or how would your choices shift? What conversations would you have? What projects would you start? What truths would you speak? That's true freedom, not fear's absence, but choosing beyond it. The alchemy of fear. From prison to freedom. Fear's alchemy isn't about wiping it out. It's about turning it into gold. It's using fear as fuel for an extraordinary life. Picture yourself as an alchemist, fear as your raw material. With the right tools, acceptance, action, identity, rewrite, you can transform it into courage, resilience, and a deeper bond with yourself. It's like stepping into the driver's seat of your destiny. Recapping the journey. In this video, we've explored 5 key dimensions of transforming fear. 1. Recognized fear as an invisible foe whispering limits we take as truth. 2. Dissected fear's anatomy, its biological, psychological, and existential gears, and how it feeds on resistance. 3. Learned a 3-step method: radical acceptance, emotion in motion, identity rewrite, a proven path to morph fear. 4. Drew inspiration from real stories of people turning fears into wings, spotting patterns we can use. 5. Found fear as a compass to our deepest values and untapped potential, a gift in the chaos. Daily courage practice. Courage is a muscle strengthened by use, not a fixed trait, but a daily habit. Aristotle taught we become virtuous by practicing virtues. Courage isn't learned from books, it's forged by acting bravely again and again until it's who you are. Try these. Small courage ritual. Each morning, pick one brave act for the day, sharing an opinion, making a risky ask, starting that delayed task. Transformation journal. At night, note a fear you faced, what you learned about yourself, how you felt after. Courage community. Find one person to share your fears and wins with. Shared vulnerability deepens growth. The upward spiral. Unlike fear's downward spiral, courage builds an upward one. Each brave act boosts confidence. Confidence fuels bolder moves. Bolder moves stretch your comfort zone. A bigger zone unlocks new possibilities. New possibilities craft a richer life. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls this flow. Evolving by tackling challenges at your edge, common hurdles and how to leap them. On this path you might hit relapses. Old avoidance habits pop up. They're normal, not failures. New brain paths take time. Pushback. Loved ones might resist your change, unsettled by the shift. Share your goals. Invite their support. Overpressure. Expecting fear to vanish is a trap. Aim for a new relationship with it, not its end. Slow results. Inner shifts don't always show fast. Treasure subtle internal wins as progress. The legacy of courage. People who face fear inspire beyond themselves. When you turn fear into strength, you spark others to do the same. You widen what's possible for those around you. You leave a courage legacy that outlives you. Poet Maya Angelou wrote, "Courage is the most vital virtue. Without it, no other can be practiced consistently." What's your biggest fear? What brave step will you take today? Share in the comments. Let's build a courage crew together. We've hit the peak of this fear to strength journey, but really, it's just the start. True change happens when you close this video and test these ideas in the real-world lab of your life. If you've made it this far, hats off. That's a sign of your commitment to growth. Transforming fear isn't a finish line, it's an ongoing adventure. Here's my challenge. Pick your most significant fear, the one that, if flipped, would change everything. Commit to facing it not as a foe, but a teacher. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be instant. It just needs to begin. As the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. If this resonated, share it with someone wrestling their own fears. Sometimes the bravest act is offering or asking for a hand. Subscribe for our Daily Courage Practices series starting next week. In the comments, tell me, what's your biggest takeaway from this video? What brave step will you take this week? Your story might light the way for someone else. Which of the 5 sections hit you deepest, and why? What specific fear are you ready to turn into strength? What's your first brave move inspired by this? Who could you team up with for this journey? What would your life look like a year from now if you kept transforming fear into strength? What's your top fear right now? How have you handled fear so far? Do you believe fear can become strength? Drop your thoughts below. Your journey could be the spark someone needs today. For more, I've got an awesome ebook with practical exercises and exclusive tips to flip fear into power. Links in the description and pinned comment. Don't miss it. Check out the 2 videos on screen next to keep your self-discovery rolling. Remember, your fear might be the doorway to your greatest breakthrough. It's not about never feeling fear. It's about using it as fuel for an extraordinary life. Thanks for joining me on this ride. See you in the next video.